The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 165.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com.
Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on. She is the co-founder of Mike Suzie Health and Fitness, and they also have a successful podcast called the Mike Suzie Show. And, I'm just really glad to have her on today. So without further ado, I am going to introduce you to Suzie Marschhausen. Suzie, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really honored to be on this podcast. I'm a big fan. I love it. So I'm excited to share my story and hopefully inspire some other women out there. I'm Suzie Marschhausen. I'm the co-founder with my husband, Mike, of Mike Suzie Health and Fitness. And we have a podcast which is all about, helping ambitious ladies get healthy, get fit, and get confident by breaking through that dieting mindset that's really holding back a lot of women from achieving their fullest potential. We're currently living in Portugal, in Lisbon, and we're just really loving life while traveling and enjoying having all of these new experiences and building our confidence as well as we kind of go through this journey.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Suzie, what's your cultural background?
I was born and raised in New Hampshire in the States. My parents and grandparents were all, born in the New England area. So I grew up in the States. Culturally, I guess you could say I just had that kind of typical American upbringing. But as far as something that I kind of bring away from my cultural upbringing was that I did grow up in that culture where women have a lot of pressure on them to look and act a certain way. And I think that was something that kind of gave me my view on things, but also was something that I needed to overcome to fully kind of come full circle.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Suzie, what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Okay, so I couldn't pick between these two, so I just wanted to say both of them. The first one is something that I actually just recently read in a book, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and that is, courage comes to those who act, not to those who think, wait, and wonder. The only way to hone this trait is by taking action. I love, love, love that quote, and it's something that I can really relate to, and a lot of my students can relate to, because I think a lot of times we get really caught up in just overanalyzing things, and that can really start to wear away and kind of take away from our ability to act confidently. And I think it's an important distinction to make, that confidence and courage comes with action. It doesn't come with kind of just picking apart and analyzing and wondering about the what ifs. It really is something that comes from taking action. And the second one, just real quick, comparison is the thief of joy by Theodore Roosevelt. That's one of my favorite quotes of all time. And I think that really is something that a lot of women especially struggle with their self-confidence, is comparison, and constantly comparing themselves to all of these different external things that they think that they need to live up to. And I think that really takes away from our ability to feel confident and to be joyful.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And, I've been guilty of the comparison game, right? We're especially as women, right? We've been compared to like the media and society. It's like, women must act a certain way. If not, then, you're not a woman. And which is bullshit, right? I mean, we can be who we want to be, right? There's no good, bad, right, or wrong, right? We can be a dancer, a singer, whatever it is that we want to be. And we don't have to compare anybody because we have our own journey. And that's the beauty of life, because we can embark on a journey where it's ours to own and ours to take, and ours to just take action. So, great quotes. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Okay, so I love this question. I'm so glad that you asked this question. I think people have a lot of different ways of looking at confidence, but something that I feel about confidence is that it's something that is not acquired but developed. I think people get caught into this trap of thinking that they can just, something's going to happen that's going to make them a confident person. That it's, if you lose a certain amount of weight, then you'll finally be confident, or you get that job, then you'll be confident. And that's really not how confidence works in my opinion and in my experience. You can't acquire it, you need to develop it, and it's a constant practice. It's something that's always being shaped and it's always fluctuating, and it really requires consistent care to develop it and to continue improving it. So I feel, not necessarily that you're a confident person, it's that you do things that make you feel confident, and then that progresses on itself. So, you're never going to be just this confident person that's always confident in every situation. It requires kind of, practicing every single day. So it's, it's like a muscle kind of, you don't just automatically have muscles, and if you stop working out, you're going to lose them. So confidence, you need to build it up, and then you always need to consistently be working that muscle so that you stay confident.
I love it. It's a great definition. And I believe too, some people think that they don't have it inside of them, but it's something that you can develop, right? It's kind of like running. Some people say I'm not a runner, but if you go out there and just run every single day for 10 minutes, you will become a runner, because you're going to start pushing yourself more and more. The 10 minutes becomes 12 minutes and 14 minutes and so on, right? So I really love that definition you mentioned. And Suzie, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
It was definitely difficult. I struggled with a really kind of a large lack in confidence, specifically body confidence, but it transferred out to every other aspect of my life. I think I put a lot more into academics because I was lacking confidence in other areas, and that was something I felt comfortable in. But I had a really hard time putting myself out of my comfort zone in all of these other areas. So I had a lot of insecurities that showed up in my relationships, and I had a lot of apprehensions about my future that I kind of backed away from challenges because I was too afraid of failure, and I saw failure as an absolute, not as a learning experience. So I suffered a lot of anxiety about my future and some low self-esteem, and I think I also kind of got caught up in a lot of misguided actions that I thought would make me more confident, but they didn't, and that kind of led me down this path of health and fitness, where I initially fell into that problem of, thinking that if I got my body to this perfect point, then I would be confident, and then everything else would fall into place for me. And it became this really obsessive, kind of unhealthy thing of wanting to make my body perfect.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, as women, we always feel like, when we have that perfect guy or perfect body, it's like, that's when we'll be happy. That's when we'll be confident. We're always waiting for these things. And especially with failure, right? I mean, we've been ingrained in society that failure is a bad thing, like with school, right? It's like you got an F, you're a failure. But, failure is really just a stepping stone to success, right? It's just showing you that that's not the route you're going, right? And it's going to, keep on showing you until you see that route or that journey that you're supposed to go to, right? It's just letting you realize you can become stronger and stronger, and you can go through all these obstacles, these mishaps, these crazy things, right? So, Suzie, what was that aha moment when you realized, you are the confident person, and you've had it inside of you, you just had to develop it?
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily had just one kind of aha moment. I think it was really, I just kind of made the commitment to myself to develop my confidence and to do a lot of soul searching and a lot of consistent action taking. When I finally have, recently or, within the past couple of years been like, wow, like I am so much different. I'm so much more confident now. It really was, I got fed up with this where I was. I was sick of being, having low self-esteem. I was sick of having this really negative self-talk, and I was sick of being indecisive and not feeling confident in the choices I was making because I had never developed that confidence in my own ability to make things happen for myself. So my aha moment was just realizing, I guess, that it is a practice and that it's something that I need to commit to doing on a daily basis and really do a lot of personal development and learning how to give myself self-love. And that was a really big part too, was I know for me, a lot of awareness and meditation was huge for me to kind of dig a little bit deeper into where these insecurities really were coming from. And then again, taking action constantly, no matter if I'm scared or afraid or think that it's going to go wrong or worried that I'll fail, just doing it. And that is probably the most empowering thing, is to have some apprehensions and do it anyway, and then realize that it wasn't the end of the world and it actually worked out well for you. And that builds a lot of confidence. So that's kind of the best description I can say. I didn't have a specific aha moment, but knowing that I need to continue working on it on a daily basis and giving myself permission and the commitment to do that was really life-changing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, I believe too, like self-confidence is going to be something you develop and work on for the rest of your life, right? Mm-hmm. And self-love is really important because we're so hard on ourselves, right? It's like, oh, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, what makes you think you can be this and that? But really, we have everything inside of us to get whatever we want in life. So, thanks for sharing that. And what's your life like now after that? Well, after your mini aha moments.
Yeah, I continue to build confidence every day. It's one of my priorities on a daily basis. And I also my life has completely done a 360. I think most people that knew me when I was younger in high school or college would have never really guessed that I would end up doing what I'm doing now. And that's running this successful business with my husband, who I have this great, healthy relationship with. It's built on respect and trust, and we are traveling the world and have new experiences on a daily basis. And I've now become one of those people who doesn't say no to challenges and doesn't say no to things that are outside of my comfort zone. I learned how to drive a motorcycle in a back alley in Thailand. I went cliff jumping in Thailand. There's so many different things that I never saw myself doing until I started to build this confidence. And even in moments when I don't feel confident, I know what to do to bring that confidence on and to build it. So I never feel stuck or like I'll never be able to take on a challenge.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And those are some pretty cool things you've done.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that. And Suzie, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be on her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think the best advice I can give is to stop waiting. Don't wait for something to give you confidence. Create it now. Start practicing. Get out of your comfort zone in whatever little ways you can start, and start building a really solid awareness around what your fears and your worries and your anxieties are, so that you can face them head on. Because I think lack of confidence is really just falling into your fears and your anxiety and never actually facing them and letting them really fester. So building that awareness and having the courage to take action now is really going to help you build that confidence. And then I guess another idea would be, think about that person that you want to be. Think about who you think you'll be when you're confident, and determine what that person does. Really make a visualization of, okay, when I'm confident, these are the things that I will be doing. And then write them down and slowly just ease yourself into them now. Don't wait until you're there. Just find ways that you can start doing those actions, because taking the action is what's going to build the confidence. And you're never going to get there if you just kind of hide in the sidelines. And finally, just don't underestimate the power of being healthy and empowered with your body. I truly, truly believe, and that's not just because it's, what I do for my job and it's my passion, but I truly believe that having a healthy foundation and feeling really solid and empowered and strong in your body is going to really transfer over to all of the other areas in building confidence and happiness. So without your health, I think most other areas are going to suffer and you're going to have a lack of confidence. So that would be kind of my long-winded advice.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, I truly believe about, being healthy, because your body is so connected to you that it's important. Like, it's important to take care of your body as well, because it's going to, tell you if something's wrong. The aches and pains, I believe, is sometimes also tied to what you're dealing with, right? So great tips. And Suzie, if our listeners want to connect with you, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Sure, yeah. We have our business page on Facebook, the Mike and Suzie Health and Fitness, but I am, very open. I love talking with people. So even just my personal Facebook, just Suzie Marschhausen, go ahead and friend me, message me, whatever you need to do to connect. And I am always open to having people chat with me, ask me questions. I love it. And also, if you want to listen to the podcast, we have some really awesome guests, and I think it'll really help people start getting into that mindset of building confidence and awareness, and really take it from there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Suzie, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Suzie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Suzie for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena. Thank you for having me. It was really fun.
It was an honor to have you on. And listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Subscribe to The Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes and Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.